My name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is going to be a general reading for the collective, so it's not star sign specific for tonight's lunar eclipse. Now there's a reason that I was doing this, because within all of the between all the sign specific lunar eclipse readings I did, certain themes kept coming out again and again. One of them being about gaslighting, propaganda, deception, causes coming into people's awareness that people could get swept up in. And to be honest, I thought, yeah, it's worth looking at this, especially when I then last night watched from the Oraculous podcast, Michael, the astrologer there, Michael, doing a brilliant November, December forecast using planetary transits with the transiting midpoints. So there's a technical bit for those who are interested. But again, the same themes were coming out again and again about propaganda, about mass campaigns, about deception. So I thought, yeah, this is worth looking at in more detail. So this is for everybody and nobody, if you know what I mean. This is just a general look at the energies that this lunar eclipse is bringing up. But one thing that we didn't mention when I was doing the show with David about the lunar eclipse was the fact that the sun and the moon are each conjunct two of the royal stars representing Michael and Uriel. So it's Aldebaran and Antares, respectively. So I phoned David this morning and asked him for a few words about the fixed stars.
Right, yeah. There are going to be two fixed stars conjoined with that eclipse axis, because it's always an axis that involves the sun and the moon. The sun is going to be closely conjunct Antares, which is a reddish star at the heart of the constellation of Scorpio. It looks a lot like Mars. People actually confuse it a lot for the rat planet in a lot of instances. And the moon, which is what's going to be eclipsed, is going to be conjoined with Aldebaran. What that would suggest is that Antares, which has a more Martian kind of quality to it, as you can imagine, it likes to go deep into subjects that are conflictuous and intensively bothersome for that person. So it likes to explore it, to bring it to the surface in a very unceremonious manner, so it can be exposed, revealed, and it can be worked with, it can be dealt with, because Mars is the planet of assertion, and it cannot assert itself unless everything that is hidden is brought to surface so it can integrate into its own logic, so it can integrate into its own assertion. So you need to really be made aware of where your beliefs, Sagittarius, the sun, the way you see things, are not really living up to your expectations. Whereas the moon, which is what is being eclipsed, is symbolizing with Aldebaran, which is this star that has this more, according to Austin Coppock, for example, has this more building up with time kind of vibration, kind of energy, and things that you put your effort into and put your energy into to achieve in the long term. Is things that take a lot of time and things that are developed with a lot of work and effort. You have to make always a conscious choice to go in that direction. Aldebaran is about persistence. And so where have you, now it's being revealed with the sun there in Antares, we are having the revelation of where our beliefs have not contributed to the things that we want to achieve in the long run. And what are those things really? We are being asked to make ourselves more aware of what our goals are. So again, it goes back to the idea of the other video that we made about the full moon eclipse, talking about prioritizing. right? And knowing what our priorities are. So the sun is bringing things up to the surface with Antares, and the moon is really showing us with Aldebaran what are our long-term goals supposed to be like and look like for us. And we are reassessing that. We are having a new idea around that.
So that's on a personal level. On a more mundane level, a lunar eclipse tends to affect the people, whereas a solar affects the rulers. So what you're saying about Antares is also feeding into that idea we've discussed it, of viewpoints coming up, to a certain extent. If these viewpoints are coming up, there will be propaganda around each of the viewpoints that come up, because people get so very attached to those viewpoints.
Yes, I think we are going to see clearly. I mean, it's going to be like those kinds of things that come up in the news, and then people are going to be sure of where people stand and why. Like, it's going to be impossible, really, for the governors to hide their true intentions behind their actions in the present, and how tied they are to their personal future plans for them and for their own class of people, and not for the collective. We are going to see, and it's going to be exposed, what is the true intention of those who rule us, and how they are trying to actually stop us from achieving things in the long term. And why stop us? Because it's an eclipse. The moon, the symbolizer of the collective, is being eclipsed. So it's really the collective getting that boost from something being denied, or from something being exposed that is not in agreement with what they are expecting those in power were going to do, or what they were expecting those in power are going to allow them to manifest in society.
So these stars are also two of the 4 royal stars. So
yeah, 4 royal stars. Yeah.
Antares is represented by the archangel Uriel, and Aldebaran by Michael. So what you was suggesting there's about the matters that are coming up. With the Uriel, you've got that earth element, fire in some religions, but in esotericism is seen as earth. So that seems like a really potent combination for getting those points of views out there. But it's interesting what you say about Aldebaran building things slowly, when that is associated with Archangel Michael, the warrior, the protector. So it's almost like that protection coming to the discussion around these earthly matters that we need to sort. But again, as ever, it will take time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, people will see what's worthy of protecting, right? People will see what they cannot live without. Like, they will see, hopefully, people see that the environment is important. And I think that really, it represents the choice, for example, that was made in the United States for the candidate that had as one of their biggest slogans for the campaign, or biggest standards for the campaign, their support for their environmental causes, right? Mm-hmm. And that candidate won. That is one expression that the public is already being made aware of its priorities, and why, even though that candidate might not have been the one that these people would consider ideal, it's much better than the other one that's completely ignoring the issues that are being brought up right now for completely egotistical reasons. And that's the kind of energy that we can expect to see around this period of time, as we have been seeing, and more events regarding that narrative, not only that one just mentioned, but every single one that would reflect that reality as well. There would be another event manifesting around this eclipse or in the month following it.
And it's interesting that you use that particular example, because Biden is being taken to task at the moment due to who he's naming as his appointees, that they haven't got the green credentials that he was promising, and that people are questioning his allegiance to that green agenda, environmental agenda. So that's a really interesting thing where
yeah. So yeah, where they are showing up who they really are and what their interests really are really early on in the game. I think that's something we are going to see early in the Biden administration, and that's something that other astrologers also have seen, such as Dana Lynn, for example. They are suggesting, like, yeah, I hope that in the next few months they really show us who they are, because we have shown that we are capable of taking one narcissist out. This next one is going to be even easier if we need to, you know. So it's really making sure we get our power back to say what's right, instead of just allowing them to determine what is right according to their preferences, you know. And by them, I'm referring to those in power who are not connected, as you at home probably will know, with the reality of the people, the little people who live in a normal minimum wage, you know.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent place to wrap up, but thank you for that,
Yeah.
David.
Thank you.
So all in all, that sounds quite positive for this lunar eclipse. And I do think that despite these themes that keep coming out about gaslighting and propaganda and what have you, this is a wonderful opportunity. If you saw our whole show on the lunar eclipse, I think I changed the title, but I think it's now called Setting Your Priorities. There's a link in the description down below. Then you will notice that there's a lot of potential to come out, slow burning potential to come out, and a lot of the more public debate that is going to be going on opens, as mad as it may seem, will open the doorway to us doing what we can to create a better world. Now let me switch to the cards, but in fact before I do, talking about links down below. So yeah, there's a link down below for Setting Your Priorities, the lunar eclipse show that I did with David, as you can see, an incredibly gifted astrologer. Then there's also going to be a link to the playlist for all the zodiac specific readings for the lunar eclipse. So as ever, I would say watch your sun, your moon and your rising. Your sun is important, it's the I am. Your rising was the most important in ancient astrology, it's how you are expressing. But it's a lunar eclipse. Look at your moon sign as well. There's a timestamp on each of them, so you don't have to hear my introductory waffle again and again and again. And there's also a link down there for the Facebook page for this channel, where when the Facebook applet is letting me, I post these videos and all the astrology videos that I was talking about, including last night I posted on that page the Oraculous Divination podcast, November December 2020 it's called. I highly recommend having a watch of that. It will, you know, the idea of forewarned is forearmed on this one. Anyway, let me bring up the cards. Now, the first thing that I notice as I look at this spread is the preponderance of cups. We have the 8 of cups, 9 of cups, 10 of cups, 3 of cups, and Queen of Cups, and then only 2 pentacles, only 2 more earth-derived, earth-related cards, with the Knight of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles. But we start with the Ageless from the Mausolea Oracle. Now, the Ageless was a being that was denied paradise on a technicality. Let's see if I can make those a bit better and bigger for you. Move that in a little bit. Was denied paradise on a technicality, but the Elohim were like, okay, yeah, you lived a just and worthy life, so the Ageless was given a gift of renewal, both for his or herself and for all those that they encountered. So this is implying a time of healing, but it's a time of healing through giving up of dreams. Now there's interesting again with what we were saying about the propaganda and gaslighting and what have you, because we also have the Lady of Shalott. Now this is one of the cards clarified by the Earth cards, the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Lady of Shalott is a card that indicates that either your illusions have been shattered or your illusions are about to be shattered. One or the other. Now, with this being the lunar eclipse, I would say more about to be, because it gives that more lightning aspect to it. Now, bear in mind that you can take this personally as well. We have just come off of, or by the time this goes to air, we'll have come off the Venus opposition Uranus, which also indicates unexpected events, shocking revelations, more in the matter of relationships and in the matter of how things are valued. Because overall of this reading, we have on one side the angel of the essence of love, let love be the center of my life. So there's one lesson that's coming. But right on the other side, we have angel del juicio. But anyway, angel of judgment. I'm sorry if I just murdered those words. But like the angel seen in the judgment card, that's an idea of some transformation, an idea of something really needing to change and being judged for whether it has achieved that or not. So this card rather implies to me that we are getting quizzed to see if we have passed 2020 or not. Let's hope that we don't get set back a year and have to do it all again. But the Lady of Shalott, as I say, it talks about, I had to look this one up because I'm not totally familiar with the Arthurian legends as much as I used to be when I was a kid, you know. So it really struck me when I looked at the book. This is what it says. The illusory world we create for ourselves back to us is a mirror image. Be that the relationships we have, the jobs we work in, the places we live, the friends we have. You are asked to shatter this illusion and crack the mirror, breaking the perceived image of who you should be so that a new image can be created. In creating this new image of you, you will be creating new experiences and a new way of living. This card of the Lady of Shalott comes up in your reading when illusions have been shattered or are about to be. So that sense of the gaslighting and all the propaganda, we hear from the word fake news has become part of every nation's lexicon nowadays. But the fact is that there is a lot of fake news out there. Problem is that also a lot of people are accusing real news of being fake news and vice versa. So it's for an information rich society. We may be information rich, but not truth rich. And a lot of this is reflecting. We've got here from the Queen of the Moon Oracle, the Fear card, interestingly clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. Now, I've jumped to there because this Lady of Shalott and the breaking of illusions, or shattering of illusions, sorry, is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. So even though an eclipse can be a boom, sharp event, it's giving me more the image of you have a mirror and you've got a crack in that mirror. And then over time, as the mirror expands and contracts according to the heat applied to it or the heat in the environment, that crack gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you get to the point of and it goes. But this is a scary process. But that fear is risks. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. Risks interfering with whatever harvest we are trying to bring about. But this is something that we will be tested on. But what I really love, as I say, is this overabundance of cups. And I do think that you have to use this eclipse as a springboard to, I think David said it in the conversation that we have, setting your own dreams, not in stone, but just setting out your priorities, setting out your own dreams so you work out what you are going to do, what aid that you need to summon, how that you are going to get movement with from the Wisdom of the House of Night, cards 13 and 29. So 13, magic number, don't need to explain that one. 29 reduces to an 11, but I love that whole 2 and 9 sort of duality and rebirth, all in one, indicating movement, indicating moving forward. And we also have the Fire Prince. Let me do that so it doesn't glare. Which indicates the moving forward, and moving forward in terms of trying to achieve wish fulfillment. 9 of Cups here. Knowing that you need to summon assistance by linking into all the sources that you can necessarily click with. So when I say click with, that could mean angels or the Goetia or spirit guides and ancestors and all that stuff on the woo-woo level. But it also can mean funding bodies, local government, employers, friends with resources or with skills or with talents that you can go, I want us to achieve this and I know that you can help me. All that sort of bringing people into the fold. But be careful with what you are trying to do, because no, that's not the right way to say it. Be careful while you are doing what you are trying to do, because there is a huge sense here of envy. And with Fomnak here representing envy being clarified by the 3 of Cups, it's like, as much as you are wanting to summon help, there's also other people interfering, and other people trying to upset things because they're jealous of things going right. And that doesn't seem logical, because what you're doing would benefit them, unless you look at it on a political level. And there we're returning to the more mundane level of the reading, because if you are a member of one party, you don't want the other party to succeed. You want your party to succeed. And it may be on a level where you actually both have the same policy, because there is a problem and there's only the one solution and everybody wants to do that one solution. And again, like I say, there's that fear from missing out, losing out, not being the person to gain. So with that summon card, I would say try and be as inclusive as the benefits or rewards of whatever you are trying to create by using your dreams. Because this Queen of Cups tells me that there is a lot more to the dreams that you are trying to set in motion, or the dreams that society or elements of society are trying to set in motion. The Queen of Cups, to me, often, if you think about the standard Rider-Waite or a lot of the tarot decks, where the Queen of Cups sat there like this, and she's running her finger around the edge of the cup because she knows there's something wonderful in it. And it's almost like there is a secret promise to that dream. Now, this particular Queen of Cups is blindfold by, let's see if I can hold that up closer. Oh, it's not very focusy, is it? But yeah, that crown is actually covering her eyes. So she's got that element of the Two of Swords, but there's that element of her attention is not being distracted by the mundane, the day-to-day, because she is focused on that dream. And here we have Leliel, the Angel of Night. Now, with Leliel, a good way to describe the symbolism of Leliel would be a pregnant darkness, much like one of the Greek creation myths where the universe, or at least Gaia, sprang into being within the darkness of Nyx. That dark phase where you don't know what's there. And that's beautiful. That's wonderful. That's a huge creative force. Like the void has no light until the words "let there be light" are said. You know, there's now here Leliel promising that creative time is clarified by that's what I'm going to call the reading, is clarified by the Ten of Cups. So it's pretty much what Leliel here is telling us is aim for the stars. And I really like that, because we are under orders with this judgment angel that we have to aim for the stars. But those that are jealous, those that we have envious gluttony from the Dark Mirror Oracle, and those that are jealous, those that are being overly, well, I want to say protective, even though there's no Four of Pentacles here. I want to say protective or defensive. It's like, oh my God, everything's going to run out if everybody's working together. I need mine. And no, it's not I need mine. It's we need ours. But this is interesting. It's clarified by the Empress. Now I'm using the Tarot 13. So this one. Let me bring that closer to so where you can see it. And this Empress is quite the spooky individual, but then again, they are in the whole deck. But that vial that she's holding, initially I thought it was like a heart that she was holding, but it isn't. It's some form of perfume bottle that is releasing a wonderful scent, right, with a, I think that's a parrot that's right next to her. So again, that a symbol of, for me, learning. You know how bright parrots are. So quite possibly that Empress is saying that even those who are acting so defensively, acting so that I've got to protect what's mine and stuff you, can be brought on side by you being able to go, this is ours, have some. But again, it's a long-term thing. But this Fire Prince with 9 of Cups, again, aim for the stars. This is actually a really beautiful reading, but it does show the downsides of, like I say, this fear here interfering. The Lady of Shalott about illusions being shattered indicates that those illusions are there in the first place, or quite possibly that there is more illusions to come that will need shattering. But all in all, this is a wonderful creative period. So whatever you are planning for you, just make sure it's more than just you benefits from it. And it looks like you will be going along the path of the energies that this lunar eclipse is bringing, especially with this ageless, this sense of renewal that the ageless brings. It's got the title The Light of the Darkness, which also the light in the darkness, which also to me means Vampirella. But you either understand that one or you don't. But there's that light in the darkness of, like that first word, the light in the darkness. And here is the darkness with Leliel waiting for that light to come into being, urging you to create that light. But there's a few dreams that we are just going to have to put to one side in order to get these better dreams. But I love, as the reading goes along, we've got that progression of 8, 9, 10. We are coming to a completion of a cycle, which means obviously we're going to be starting another one, but we are coming to a completion of the cycle. Certainly with Cups, we are coming to a completion of forming our dreams, diving into Leliel's creative darkness to actually make them, to create that harvest. So 7 of Pentacles, the Empress right below, both harvest cards. The 7 of Pentacles can be good harvest or bad. It depends if you put your work in. But fear is what prevents this harvest coming to being. So all in all, whether you're taking this as a standing back and looking at what opportunity humanity has, or whether you're looking at this on a more personal level of, am I going to do it? Am I going to chase this dream? Yes, chase your dreams. Now is the time to do it. Chase them. Aim for the stars. Now, I was going to say cheers, but I just thought, now I've said all that, go and look for the pitfalls so that you can avoid them. Have a look at your sign specific readings. Link to the playlist down below. Now I will say cheers, and I will finish with one more. Aim for the stars.